It's the Cabbages Podcast Network.
All right, so what are the three kinds of Arizona iced tea?
Okay, I'm not like from New York, so I may get it wrong.
But you've been living here long enough, right? You should know. Pop quiz.
I mean, first and foremost, regular ass Arizona iced tea.
Correct. That's one.
That one can't even stay in stock locally.
That's one. You can't even find it at your bodega?
No.
Man.
90% of the time, if you want one, you got to kind of take a little trip, hit up like 3 or 4 bodegas, see who's not drinking it.
So your neighborhood hasn't been completely gentrified yet?
No. Lord, no. Arizona iced tea sales would have you not believe that.
Second.
Now, see, this one might show my cultural. So I would believe that it would be the Arnold Palmer, the half and half.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
No. Yeah.
Like,
Arnold Palmer. Yep.
That's a jam. Like, that's one of the best drinks on the planet. Not the Arizona version per se.
Did you ever have the Arizona lemonade, like just a straight lemonade? I don't know if they even stock that anymore.
I don't know that. I didn't know that existed. So no.
The Arizona lemonade, it was just like, I bet
that is.
It's just poison.
Very sugary.
Ooh, it is.
I bet it is.
Ooh. Makes Country Time look like a real piece of shit.
Am I crazy to believe that the third one is green?
Yeah, green, but you're almost there. You're almost there.
But like the green with the ginseng in.
Yes, you have to say ginseng.
Right.
That's like the entry point for so many people, like understanding tea. Like for so many Americans, especially here in New York, it's like it was through these kind of sugary drinks, classic can, big cans.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly see like this ginseng one, like what's ginseng? Like what's this? Oh, green tea? And like suddenly now, like you could be a tea connoisseur. It opens up the door for all these other tea drinks, in terms of going into your convenience stores, your bodegas, your gas stations. Like it all kind of starts with that. Like, I mean, whatever, respect to, Lipton and Brisk and all that for the work they did. But like, it is really those Arizona iced teas. That's the real iced tea that just makes things happen.
I'm going to try this thing. I haven't had an Arizona.
So which one do you have there? The
regular ass, like
all right,
the New York big can.
But not a big can. There's not a can though.
You can see it.
I can see the top of it. I'm looking.
So I got the plastic bottle. They were out of the cans.
That's okay. Look, they make the plastic bottles now. I guess it's more environmentally something or other.
Nothing I could do. It's nothing I could do.
You got it.
I'm going to try it.
Give it a taste.
Well, you know what? I'm coming around.
Yeah. See? Don't look at the back. Don't read the nutritional label.
No. We don't read labels when we make big decisions like this.
Can I ask you a question, though?
Uh-huh.
Why are you drinking an Arizona iced tea?
Because we're doing a whole season on iced tea.
Oh, the drink?
No, Gary, you fool. We're watching the iced tea filmography, if you will. Or at least I'd like to get through more than half of it, at least.
I mean, it's a task.
The big highlights.
It's a task. I think we're going to get through a lot of it.
Yeah. And I think we're going to start with maybe, I haven't seen them all, but maybe my favorite of all time. 1994's Surviving the Game.
So just for background, we've decided after trying another bad movie battle season, we realized we can't do this. We just can't do this to ourselves.
I take full blame.
We've shifted away from the bad movie battle. We want to watch some movies that are good. We want to watch some movies that are okay. We want to watch some films that are exceptional, but we're also accepting that there will be bad movies, but we are trying to do that. And so we broke away from that by kind of saying, now we're going to do rapper movies. And that's a broad description. Hopefully over the course of this season, people will understand exactly how broad we're talking. It doesn't seem right to kind of do this season and not put a special spotlight on one of the most prominent rapper turned actors of all time. So in addition to kind of this main mission of our regular episodes where we'll have rapper and hip hop producer guests, we're going to take the listeners on a side quest exploring Ice-T's filmography, and Surviving the Game being his first starring role. And interestingly enough, one of the few where he is truly the star as opposed to part of a ensemble or supporting cast. Even though he is prominently featured in the artwork for so many of the films that he has small roles in, because he is a selling point, clearly. Having him in your film is a selling point. You're going to hear kind of in our week to week, you're going to hear what we consider a regular episode, and they're going to hear these sort of bonus episodes. It's just going to be me and Jeff for the most part. There may be some episodes where special guests come through.
You guys lead us, man. The internet, and volunteer yourselves.
Yeah. Like we're open to it. Like right now, we're sort of just like, we're going to go, we're going to treat these the same way, but let us know. Surviving the game.
Let's fucking go. I'm
Jeff,
so excited to talk about this.
Let's fucking go. Jeff,
man.
What is Surviving the Game about?
Oh, I am so glad you asked. Surviving the Game is about the architecture of survival in the big city through a woods lens, through an actual survival lens. A group of rich men give zero advantage to a human being and hunt them for sport.
They gave them a head start,
but
they had breakfast.
Listen, that's the same as saying capitalism gives you a head start by just existing.
Yeah.
That's not a head start. They get guns, all manner of vehicles.
It's allegory.
A giant meal, which this person does not get before having to try to survive for what could be days on end.
He had a good dinner, but
he did.
He is not allowed to have a good breakfast, which I think.
How uncomfortable was that dinner? You watching, knowing what you know about the film. The first time I watched that film, I had no idea what it was. And I was like, these guys are the weirdest guys.
When did you first see it? When do you remember?
I saw it in 1994. I guess by the time it got to HBO, it was 1995.
So you saw it on like basic cable. You saw it on cable. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
And HBO played it a bunch. And like, I watched a lot of late night TV.
Sure.
I wasn't much of a sleeper back then.
No.
And Surviving the Game was on late a lot. It bounced around different channels. For a little while, my family was a cable thieving family, or my mom dated dudes that had cable thievers. So I could watch all kinds of channels, and Surviving the Game, whenever it was on, I was like, I was really into this movie for some reason. So, you're talking about 14-year-old me.
A lot of things for me is about, well, what did you go and see in the theaters? It was spotty. Like movie tickets cost a lot of money. In 1994, I'm a teenager. I'm working a minimum wage job. Like I'm not in a position where I can go and buy a bunch of movie tickets. So like the handful of films I've seen in the theaters are like interesting, kind of looking back on it. But the films you watched on cable, or the films that you watched on television, what was on USA, what was on HBO, so all these things.
HBO was worth all of the money you paid for it as a family.
Yeah.
It was something of a debate in my
family. And if you were stealing cable, then even better, right?
Right. But we never stole it at my house. We were payers. But you date people. My parents were both single. They divorced. So I ended up at a lot of weird houses, and I didn't care what they were doing. I was watching Surviving the Game at 1 a.m.
And so now you've watched it as an adult through this lens, and that dinner scene in particular, the night before the hunt. It is
an uncomfortable scene, my man.
And that's I guess technically that's the beginning of Act 2, right? We would call that. Is that fair?
Yes. I think, and this movie can be lambasted for a lot of reasons. I understand the general vibe is that this movie is bad. It's bleak. It's kind of pointless.
Bleak. Yeah, that's the word. I wouldn't say the
rating on this, I think, was 32%, and we absolutely would have used this in a bad movie battle situation.
Well, I mean, you might have. I was looking
definitely
into
the second I saw the title
score
for this, when we came up with the idea, I was like, now I kind of wish we were back in the bad movie battle, because that would be my first pick. First round pick, Surviving the Game, Ice-T, 1994.
I mean, depending on the guest we had on it, there's a chance, but you probably would have won.
I think that's a winner. I think this is a winner.
I think this is, I don't even know if I would necessarily call this a good, bad movie. I think this is a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Same. But but with our criteria.
Yeah, no, fair.
It would have qualified. But I agree with you. I feel the same way in a lot of ways. It's obviously a wildly different movie. But Harlem Nights was another one where you're like, this shouldn't be in the good, bad movie war. And that's kind of why it didn't get chosen.
Yeah,
it's
not
that's
apples
unfair.
to apples. Yeah.
Bringing in people to hate on that movie, who are you going to find?
Yeah, no, I'm glad
Salty
that
old reviewers. That's really all you can find.
well, that's the problem. Is one like the problem with a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes is it's
Mm.
twofold. For a movie that came out in the 90s, is twofold. One, it's white critics talking about a movie with a black star.
Rappers weren't allowed to be actors yet either.
You have to keep in mind.
94, it wasn't happening like it.
Oh,
like,
no,
Ice-T opened some doors with movies like this.
So, like, first of all, this is historic. This is a historic moment for hip hop. Very few rappers before 94 have been the stars of movies. They were typically, if they were used at all,
be in them, sure.
They were supporting or ensemble roles. So, like, you have
very
Fat
much
Boys.
Like pointing out, like, oh, look, the rapper is here. We did it.
Yeah.
We brought him in. Now we can go back to the movie.
So there were the novelty films,
Yeah.
Fat Boys, Disorderlies, which is a film I would like to revisit, and maybe that will get discussed on the main show. Kid and Play, 1990 House Party 2 in 91, Class Act 92, Vanilla Ice 1991, Cool as Ice. So you have these films where like this largely kind of meant to be comedic, largely meant to be playing to the young audience that's consuming hip hop, and not necessarily giving these actors like great roles. Now, regardless what you think about those movies, regardless what you think about like House Party, I mean, we've already talked about how much we love House Party, and you and I disagree on Class Act. It wasn't really until 1992 when Tupac got Juice before we really started seeing rappers those roles.
Drama is the one. If you can handle the weight of acting in a drama, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's when the crossover audience comes in. Comedies were generally, in a lot of cases, those were like get stoned or drunk and like have a good time. The movie's on, but who cares? You know what I mean? That's the kind of comedy they were casting then.
Yeah,
and then you cross over into a drama, and people like take the acting more seriously. Whether or not that's cool or whatever, I don't know, but like that's the way audiences were treated, at least.
Yeah, and keeping in mind, like the director of Juice is Ernest Dickerson, the same director as Surviving the Game. This is somebody who's putting people on. Like, you know, Ernest Dickerson had been the cinematographer on a bunch of Spike Lee movies, like basically from like She's Gotta Have It to Malcolm X. He was the cinematographer. Malcolm X comes out in 92, Juice comes out in 92. So now he has this opportunity to make movies. And what he does in those first two films, he puts on rappers.
Yep.
And that's, you know, that is sets a pace that, you know, years later we get benefit. You know, like this is before Friday. Friday's come out until 95.
Pre-Friday, all kinds of stuff.
This is before you get Belly. But like you have to see these as inspiring films where it's like a rapper could be on the screen in a serious role.
A lot is made of this movie coming just after Hard Target. And there wasn't it's forgotten that there wasn't as much like movie choice for your, you know, smaller cities and you know, non-cities. They're not going to be able to go see like a ton of different films. So if they see two things come out that are very similar, they're skipping one of them. You know what I mean? A lot of people probably didn't know Ice-T as an actor at all. You know what I'm saying? But to me, this was like Hard Target had a dude in it that was a human weapon. And this was a normal human being having to survive wild circumstances, and it gets sloppy and weird, and he gets very lucky throughout the film.
Oh yeah, so lucky.
And you like this is what I mean when I say it's like a movie version of like what it is to survive in like capitalism land when you have no advantages.
I mean, you think about a movie like Hard Target, you know, and which I rewatched
a fun
fairly recently. I mean, John Woo is one of my favorite action directors.
It's a fun.
I will watch anything he does happily, especially from this period, especially from that. I mean, like really, like once you get to things like Paycheck, you're like, okay, this is starting to hurt. But like so many of his films are incredible. I mean, Face Off is the greatest movie. It's like one of the greatest movies of all time.
Right.
So we got that, but
I love it.
Specifically with this, it's like I think it's easy to just make, especially as a white film critic in the 90s, that comparison right off the jump and be like, okay, so you went from having like Jean-Claude Van Damme and Lance Henriksen with John Woo, who acclaimed Hong Kong action director, did his US debut, to getting Ice-T, who had, you know, he'd done New Jack City, he'd done Ricochet, he'd done Trespass. It wasn't like he had not helmed a film before. He had not been the star of a film.
First starring role.
Yeah, with a director who had, again, worked on a ton of amazing films, worked with John Sayles, worked with Robert Townsend, worked with Spike Lee, again, on so many of these great films.
Yeah.
And he gets this shot to do this movie, and it's a real moment. And I have to commend Ice-T for rising to the occasion, given the bleakness of this script. You know, you talk about survival. It's like, what's so impressive to me here in Ice-T's role, and I want to give him a lot of credit for this, is like, he isn't some invulnerable action hero. He's a man who has been forced to survive again and again and again.
And that to me informed decisions that were made, which is the hallmark of like a not a bad film, but a good film, is that this was thought about. Yeah. And this person, like a lot of people, would have like just stayed at the cabin and begged for their lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These rich dudes chose a person they knew was a hard survivor, a hard target, if you will.
Yeah, a hard target. And explains why Charles S. Dutton singled him out and sought after him.
Yeah. I mean, like the fact
hunted
that
him before the hunt.
Yeah. The fact that it's not like an incredibly or impeccably edited or acted film will kill it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will get like 10 minutes and then be like, what in the fuck am I watching? But if you like really stick with this film, it rewards you because this person immediately recognizes, okay, these are wild sociopaths. I should have seen it sooner. I'm just going to run. I'm actually going to run, and I'm going to try and find a way to outlast these people.
I want to pause on the acting side of this. Like, is it well acted? Because like, we're talking about this incredible cast of this film. Like, oh my God,
it really is
crazy.
A wild cast.
But like, let's face it, I rewatched Hard Target recently, and Jean-Claude Van Damme is fucking terrible.
Oh yeah.
He is horrible. It's camp. He delivers, his lines are delivered so poorly. He is a wooden actor. He is a versatile action star, but
there's
he is
not many
a
people
good
on
actor.
earth that can do that on command for a film. It looks cool. You know what I mean? With that physique and everything else, like, dude's got plenty of weapons, but acting, it wasn't early in the game. It definitely wasn't one of them.
I don't think this film, I mean, especially when you look at genre, I think this film has better acting overall. Like, I'm no disrespect to Lance Henriksen. He plays an amazing bad in Hard Target. Oh, he's so good as a bad in Hard Target. But like, the bad in this movie is Rutger Hauer.
He was great.
Rutger Hauer, fucking
he's so
Blade Runner,
in it.
The Hitcher, Rutger Hauer.
You know, maybe I'll revise and say that it's just weird because the script is wild.
Yeah.
The things that they're saying, the things that they're doing. One of the things I truly love about this film is the dudes aren't sitting around justifying their bloodlust at all.
No.
At all. They're just tickled pink that it's time to hunt again, that the boys are back in town. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And I think what's with the bleakness of this script from the first act, which we see in what is meant to be Seattle, these like where there's like the man is on the street trying to find food to survive. He loses his dog to a taxi driver, and then he loses his best friend like the same damn day on the street. He's already lost so much. He's lost his family, as we learn over the course of the film. And then he goes to try to kill him. Yeah, he tries to kill himself, and he's saved by
wildly dark
trying to kill him. Oh yeah,
because the man who is saving him is only saving him to use his body for a hunt. Yeah. And in fact, the suicide, if you think about it hard enough, which a lot of people, you don't really need to think that hard about this movie, you don't want to, but to save someone specifically to use their body to kill them, the suicide was actually like a positive sign.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this dude was going to die anyway, so this justifies it. But they never speak on that because that would make them think about what they were doing, and they like might stop. There was already one voice of reason there, and that the man brought his kid who wasn't ready for it.
Ice-T just plays off the sheer nihilism of this film. He plays off so well. Remember how standoffish he was as a personality.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, it is the one. It's like it's as nihilistic as like Funny Games or like anything like Michael Haneke and those folks have done. Totally in that realm.
Wildly
like,
subversive.
He's like trying to out Nietzsche the script. Like he's like, oh, and it's so important to remember that like Ice-T's public persona at the time, and Ice-T is a person. Let's just face it. Like, I mean, he is who he is. Like, he's very standoffish and he's very abrasive. and he's very direct. And he's not trying to soften who he is. So he
No.
leans into this very hard in this film. And he's like, yeah, there are inequalities that
probably the reason he was cast for it.
Well, the reason he was cast for it was like the studio liked him in I think it was in Trespass. I think they really liked how he did work he did in Rich and Trespass, and the director really liked his role, how he played Trespass too. Originally, I mean, we can get to this part of it now, or we can talk about it later. But the movie that this could have been, originally the director had, when he went and met with the studio for this, wanted Lawrence Fishburne for the role. He's quite really liked Lawrence Fishburne, period, as an actor, and he respected his work, which I agree. I think it's like this presented an interesting alternative in having somebody who had some significant roles in supporting cast, and to give them this opportunity. The studio didn't want Fishburne because they weren't happy with the financial performance of a movie that I know you love, Deep Cover.
Oh man, Deep Cover is so good. It's a 5-star film for your boy.
Yeah.
And like, I highly recommend it anyway. We're not going to get into a Deep Cover conversation.
No, that's a separate thing.
But that's fascinating because, man, coming off of Deep Cover and then doing this, no offense to Ice-T, it might have been pretty sick.
It might have been, right?
What we got is like of no avail to me. I'm very excited that he got to do this, because it guaranteed that it informed the rest of his acting career, and we get some real cool stuff from him.
And like, obviously a different actor takes a different approach to each of the the script. Like the one-liners and punchlines that he delivers, they hit every single time.
Agreed.
It's like I mean, I wrote down.
Okay, so do you even think the last one?
The last one?
Like the last line of the film?
Well, look, the ending.
We'll talk about the ending.
I want to talk about the ending at the end,
but I want to hear this list first, because I love
like the list I have is like, I have like Charles S. Dutton when he's talking to him and trying to get him not commit suicide. He says, "Man, I've been through rough times." And he says, "Like what? Your jacuzzi broke?" Delivers that line.
Nails it. I mean, like, look.
When fucking Rutger Hauer is trying to like get him to run for 20 minutes on the treadmill.
And the people that later become his hunters.
Yeah.
I'd swear, I shit you not, only get better with both time, like watching it again, like with repeated watches, and with time over time.
Yeah.
Because at the time, action movies had what, like 100 of these lines?
Yeah.
Per movie.
Yeah.
So you get tired of them, but these don't, like, they age really well, because he's just hamming on rich dudes.
For $20, I'll run to fucking Alaska.
Love that. He was really tired at the end of that run too.
Yeah, no, it was like a 20-minute run, and he's like on the treadmill, like a pretty serious run. Like, again, that's the point. He's not invulnerable. He's not some like fucking like robot. Like, who's like, oh yeah, I'm a killing machine. It's like, no, he was a guy who's made resourceful.
Yeah, it's always like a CIA operative or some sort of cop. This dude ain't a cop.
This guy was like Green Beret. This guy was Navy SEAL. Like, there's always these shits. It's like, I mean,
this guy also threatened a cop's life.
Security guard.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know.
The security guard was gonna fucking do something to him. Like, he had to do something. You know?
Yeah. But he spared his life.
So when Gary Busey is coming at him in that brawl outside the hunting lodge,
the burning down building,
the burning lodge, fucking Gary Busey, crazy eye Gary Busey's like, I like my meat rare, and fucking Ice-T turns the tables on him.
He could have won the fight right there and killed him. But he was like, no, I want to keep beating your ass.
Exactly. So for it. And then Ice-T turns it around.
That's
on him.
The luck part.
And then he says, try well done, bitch.
Oh,
like,
nailed it.
I'm sure another actor could have delivered those lines, but I can't think of anybody who could do it that well.
Do we even want another actor to come in and like say those things?
Yeah.
Like,
I want to hear.
Lawrence Fishburne was in that movie, I guarantee you. You know, those lines wouldn't have been effective, because he would have been like, you know, it's a different actor.
And
I think these were effective because he was just like, yell them at you while you're throwing someone through a burning building.
Those moments of levity in a film that's this dark, like, you laugh because everything is so uncomfortable and so dark. Like, he says like, fuck your taxi to the taxi driver, and then picks up the corpse of his dead dog.
Yeah.
Which he
had a really bad day.
Which you see.
Yeah.
You see the dog's face. You see the blood. And he like walks away with him. Like, I laughed for a moment, and then I saw this fucking dead dog. I'm like, oh my God, life is a cruel, horrible joke. And Ice-T is hitting it every line.
Oh yeah.
Every line.
Dude, it's a good movie. Straight up and down. I know that it's not a popular opinion, but it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous and outlandish and over the top, but like, so is the premise.
Yeah.
Like, this is the time to be wild and over the top with shit. They're hunting a human for sport. Like, let's go over the top with it.
Yeah. And like, that's when you get like some of the great.
Why is over the top
actors.
only for arm wrestling? You
know? No. Well, but that's why you get like the great actors who play the hunting party. Yes. You get people like Gary Busey in there, you know, that's obviously the dinner scene
speech on his dead dog speech is just absolutely unhinged.
Just for those who haven't watched it yet, and we're trying to get them to watch it clearly with this episode. If you haven't seen it, please watch this movie. Wild. Please watch it. Wild. Like, what's the gist of that speech? Gary
Busey, as a child, is given, like, the family buys a dog, and he becomes close to the dog, you know, as close as humans and dogs are going to get. And throughout their man beast friendship, I forget what the trigger is, but there's a way to trigger the dog to be an attack dog, essentially. I forget what it is, but his dad, after a couple of years of them forming this kinship, his dad takes him out into the woods and turns the dog on him and says, now you're in a fight to the death between you and this dog. And that's how you're going to learn to be a man. I think he's 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
He's telling a story about his 11-year-old self or whatever.
It's his bar mitzvah.
And everyone, they're at this like big talkative dinner, and everyone is just glued on this crazy person giving this completely out of left field speech that is off the hook. It is just excellent. It's so ridiculous.
Now, I mean, it's delivered by Gary Busey, so you assume this is insane, but this is actually a true story.
Are you for real? For real?
Yeah.
This happened to Gary Busey?
No, not to Gary Busey, but it is a true story. According to Ernest Dickerson.
Okay.
This is a story, or at least it's based on, I guess I should lost of them, a story from a member of the Aryan Nation, the white supremacist group.
That tracks.
So like, when you think about what we know about white supremacist groups, militarized groups in this country.
If you were to say to me,
tracks,
like,
right?
What do you think the people looked like that like sicked a dog on their kid? I'd be like, kind of tall, bald, very angry, white guys.
Yeah, swastikas, tattoos, perhaps.
Yeah. That might be there. I don't know if I would have gone and just assumed. I just would have assumed they were who they were. Yeah.
In this movie, you should. Even though like race is
absolutely.
not, even though race is weirdly not like discussed overtly in this film.
It's not. And that's another thing where like, I think they would have felt the same way about killing a homeless anyone. You know what I'm saying? That they've obviously at this point in their kinship, in their trip, they do it once a year.
Yeah.
They have killed enough people to know that like, there's no better rush per se. Like there's no better rush coming. The rush comes from killing a human being and hunting them down.
This isn't like a situation like Get Out, where their race is very much an overt part of their crime. Theirs is about killing, and that really goes back down to the script itself. The script itself did not signify or specify the race of the main character.
The only things that are fully in focus are that the group of men that are hunting this guy down, they are rich.
Yes.
And he is not, like, I guess destitute would be the word, because like he's lost. There's been a lot of death. He's already homeless, you know, takes issue with the fact that he believes he killed his family, even though it's also random shitty luck. But like, there's a lot of random shitty luck going on for this human being who is also without home or money or prospect of money. I mean, so the lure to get this fish in the boat is like handing them $200.
Yeah.
That was the hook.
Yeah.
And it's set perfectly. We're like, yep, it worked. Works every time. Hand somebody money because that's the most important thing in the world.
at that moment. Yeah.
And you'll get
it. It's an indictment on capitalism more so than it is any 100%. Kind of commentary on race relations. I mean, the casting of Charles S. Dutton.
Hard Target could never.
Sitcom star Charles S. Dutton.
Oh, man. There's a couple of sitcom stars in this film, too.
Sure, yeah.
One of them ended up being on that Scrubs show.
Yeah, John McGinley, who plays real squirrely fellow who eventually has the change of heart. But it's like Charles S. Dutton was like there. Unfortunately, they get shot.
His change of heart is like, this guy's way harder to kill than you guys think, so I'm out. It's not like I definitely want to like support this man. Maybe we could make him like get him a house or something. No, it was like he's really strong, and I'm out.
Yeah, I'm like, out. Okay,
is that we're dying over? I think his exact words.
And he dies as a result of that. Best death scene, worst death scene.
Best death scene for me, and there's a number of reasons why.
I'm interested.
Is Charles S. Dutton.
Yes.
And it's not just because he lays there with no legs laughing at the situation that he's in, like in shock, clearly.
Yes.
What an acting job that was. It's more so because of the circumstances. Like this dude knew that the first thing that was going to happen if he made a single noise was that they were going to run up to where he knew they were coming for their vehicles, and he sabotaged one very openly, knowing full well that their bloodlust would, like, he's not going to notice that his gas line is connected to, is going to blow up his car. He also knew that everybody would go to help him so he could get time to get away because they were right on his ass. I mean, it's a great kill scene.
Incredible.
There's a horror element to this thing.
Yeah, you could see this as a horror film, of course.
Yeah, I think it's the secondary genre. I think thriller horror. Right.
Even the director says something to the effect of, you can see this as a horror movie. And he went on. His next film was Tales from the Crypt Demon Night. He also did Snoop Dogg's Bones. So horror is something he is totally okay with. He directed a bunch of Tales from the Dark Side episodes.
I feel like we just got to watch all those for the season. Those are perfect films.
I mean, a number of those are definitely candidates for the main season.
Quickly becoming one of my favorite directors ever.
I think if you think about like Juice and the acclaim that Juice gets, and then you go into this film, which I think is underrated, and underrated because of tremendous casting, its flaws that exist. And we'll talk about the ending, which I think is the biggest flaw.
It does the thing that I hate the most about Hollywood sometimes, where to make someone homeless, you just put some paint on them. You just rub a little dirt under their eyes and everyone will get it. But that's hard to. Budgets are budgets, and it's hard to like make a realistic person.
Well, speaking of budgets, the relationship between the studio and the producer had really soured prior to this film. And so New Line had like one more deal in the contract with this producer, with David Permit, who's the executive producer on the film. And Bob Shea, who ran New Line, they did not get along, and they were sniping at each other in the trades. The director had no idea that this was going on. So like, this is the last picture.
Direct a film. He lives.
So
he
comes into this
moment.
so even before he filmed a single scene, New Line had pre-sold the film overseas based on that great cast we've been talking about.
Right.
So regardless of like what this did box office, it made its money back because it sold the film overseas before it was fucking made.
Okay.
So when they got into some delays while making this film, because F. Murray Abraham got into a horrible car accident and was hospitalized, they used a stunt double for a number of scenes. When the producer went back to New Line to ask for money, he basically told him to fuck himself.
Right.
So like now you're dealing with monetary restrictions.
Right.
And then because of the soured relationship and the fact the studio felt like they'd made their money already, like the film did domestically like $7 million off of a production budget of $7 million. But like this film did not get much in the way of advertising or marketing support. So
no, it was not something that, and it probably wasn't, I don't know for sure about this, but it probably wasn't something that was widely distributed.
I mean, certainly
it was limited to cities because like it's not really a like outdoorsy movie other than that most of it's filmed outdoors.
Yeah. But
I mean, these are all city dwellers who happen to hunt humans.
But show me an American at that time who didn't know who Ice-T was. Like in terms of notoriety, ubiquity, Ice-T, if you didn't know him from his music as a fan, if you didn't know him from seeing him in these films, you knew him because of Cop Killer. You knew him because of the controversy surrounding Cop Killer.
Yeah.
This man was hugely well known. I mean, there's some parts of this that certainly hurt him. You know, it's like they couldn't get security for the film because because of his anti-cop commentary, you know, but like he had this national profile. And here this big studio has a film from the director of Juice,
right,
who made that terrific movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's his follow-up. It stars Ice-T, Rutger Hauer. It's got Gary Busey. It's got Charles S. Dutton, who has rock on TV at that time. Tremendous star. And F. Murray Abraham.
Right.
Fucking Salieri himself is in this goddamn movie.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're not going to support this film. It's tragic.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
I kind of understand in a way because of its bleakness. Again, that's going to drive most of the audience away because it's like an unforgiving film. Your reward for destroying all the people at the top of this horrible like organization of people, you kill them all.
Yeah.
Your reward is to walk right back to where you were, destitute, and start from scratch.
And is it any wonder why Ice-T, subsequent to this film, has received very few starring roles in movies? Like after this is Tank Girl, Johnny Mnemonic, roles that I love him in.
Sure.
They are supporting roles.
Right.
He's no longer the guy starring in the film.
And a lot of times gets, because of the TV career.
Yeah.
I think one of these episodes, by the way, should be, we watch like an hour and a half supercut of his reactions on the TV show.
Look, I mean, like I used to be a huge Law and
It
Order
would be so
SVU
fun
fan.
to like just Law and Order SVU supercut of him being like, man, let's go kick his ass. Like there's a certain flair for reaction on that show that he has. And I'm sure there's a supercut of it.
I am a huge fan of him on that show. And that's largely, to be honest, where my experience with him as an actor comes from. I used to watch SVU daily. I used to watch the new episodes, the reruns for like almost the entirety of my 20s. I think I watched SVU all the time and part of my 30s. And then I kind of moved away from it. But like I've watched him so many times, deliver so many hilarious lines on that show. Before we wrap up, I think we both agree that we really like this movie. We really enjoy this movie, despite its darkness.
Maybe you don't love the ending, I think.
The ending is my issue. I don't know what your thoughts on the ending are, and I'd love to hear them at the end of this. Because when I said before, best death scene, worst death scene, the worst death scene is Rutger Hauer's gun misfire at the end. This sort of cheesy callback to the line from his homeless friend at the beginning of the film, like, always check a gun before you fire it. Okay, thanks, buddy. I'll keep that in mind for the next 86 minutes. That gets used at the end in such a way that, for movie purposes, it's cute, but like we didn't watch a cute movie. We watched a broken man get broken down further and barely make it out alive. Barely make it out alive. And you're just like, da 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 da.
Womp.
Yeah. Maybe you have a kinder reading of it, but I don't. I felt like it was a letdown. That part was a letdown after such a great first act, second act, and most of the third.
My thing is he walks by the old lady dressed up as a priest, I guess.
Yeah. With his shoe polish makeover on his mustache and eyebrows and stuff. Yeah.
So like he walks past this woman, denies her money. I guess it's there to tell us that he hasn't changed, but like I didn't expect, maybe that's just me, but I didn't expect this dude to change. He's just going to try and like put together a new squad of rich dudes to go hunt people.
Yeah.
That was there. And then the gun jamming stuff. This movie's not about poetic justice at all. And that's certainly not an example of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I just wanted more because the movie was so stark and gritty. And then the end of it was just like, and he dies too. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Bye, everybody. Like walks off into not a sunset, but a steamy city alley.
Yeah. Like, what's going to happen to him now? Like,
no sunset in this film. Let me tell you that much right now.
Whatever happens in
no
this
fun.
Film, whatever happens next for this man, it can't be good. Not in America.
No. That part I love, but what happens to Rutger Hauer and the way it happens is, I don't know. It's not hackneyed is not the word. It just is bad.
And they wouldn't have done this. The studio wouldn't have let this be the case if they had gone with the studio's original picks for both of these actors.
Right.
Where Charlie Sheen was their first pick for Mason, for Ice-T's character, and Dolph Lundgren was their pick for Rutger Hauer's character, which would have made for such a radically different movie. Yeah, we got a better movie.
Nothing
as a result,
against
no question.
Dolph. I enjoy the Dolph canon of films, but
look,
he would have kind of ruined this in a way.
No, because and it really does.
Rutger's like gravity and his like way of being in the scene and enjoying when other dudes were sort of slipping up, knowing full well that Ice-T wasn't going to figure out that they were going to hunt him in the morning. I don't know. He just was great. He didn't have to say a lot to be good.
Rutger Hauer and Ice-T were really well matched, I'd say, in terms of the and I think otherwise you would have had some issues.
I'm just pumped you liked the movie. The ending's not great. What can you do?
Yeah, I mean,
otherwise
honestly,
it's really weird and stark and cool.
Enough interesting stuff happens. I can't call this movie
fun. Make a realistic, gritty movie about people hunting people for sport.
It redefines gritty to me.
And make it good. Enjoy yourself, please.
The definition of gritty shifts a bit more to, I don't know, the left or the right, but shifts more towards darkness either way. And that, I think everybody involved should be commended for that.
Agreed.
In this series talking about Ice-T, I feel like this is a great starting point. We're going to hear about a lot of different roles he's done. Some are going to be truly memorable, some less so. We've watched some stuff already.
You could say the same thing about my Ice-T choices, which will continue. I'm going to have a different one for each pair, a different pairing for each movie.
Yeah.
I will say that given time to sit with the Arizona Ice-T I'm drinking, it's not good. I don't like it. I'm not going to finish it. And I didn't even get a third of the way into it. I'm sorry.
Well, like with surviving the game, it's better if you don't get to the end.